first, congratulations on your limited series. As I was telling your other co-stars I spoke with today, it's absolutely amazing. And I think one of the biggest things to take away from this series is just how intense it is from the very start to the very end. So if you could tell me, how did you even get involved with this project?
Well, as we do as actors, we audition, and I was fortunate enough to book this role. It was, it was one of those projects that sort of a dream project that comes your way. The pedigree involved Liz Hannah, Patrick McManus, Elle Fanning, Lisa Cholodenko. It was one of those coveted jobs. And when I read the script and started doing the research, looking into it, I just felt compelled as not only an actor, but as a person to be involved in this story. I just think it's a really important topic, and something that hopefully this show will ignite conversation around mental health and the impact that technology has on young people today. And the conversations around that, I think, are really critical at this point.
And I know that, or for at least for the research I could do, it doesn't seem as though your character did really any interviews or any sort of conversations about, the case and in general. So as a researching level, when you went into developing this character, where did you even start from, and how did you manage to develop basically a fully rounded character with really little to nothing to go on?
Oh, thanks. Well, fortunately, as you know, The Girl from Plainville is based on the Esquire article from Jesse Barron. And Jesse Barron did just an incredible amount of research, and we were all given access to that research. Also, Aaron Lee Carr's documentary, the I Love You Now Die, was a great source for us. And then, not to mention the scripts that Liz Hannah and Patrick McManus created were just so full that I felt as an actor that I had more than enough to go on. This isn't a documentary. And a lot of the characters are, there's some drama and some fictional characters involved. So I think because there wasn't a lot of information out there for the Carter family, I personally took it as an opportunity to invest into this character, a lot of my own personal experience being a father and raising a child during the time of social media and technology, and hopefully serving the story in the sense that, coming into this with a compassion and just really doing my best to help forward the story in the way that I knew as a parent. It's just such an incredibly profound story and so tragic. That was really my goal. And I feel like I had all of the ammunition I needed to dive into this wholeheartedly, and with as much authenticity as possible.
And did you feel as though when you were doing this, because as you just said, you're a parent yourself, and in this day and age, the research and then basically the knowledge that we have on social media, and the fact that kids, I feel, have a more luxury of hiding things from their parents.
Absolutely.
When you were coming in to this conversation, you're bringing this character to life. How did you, as a parent, even approach that? Like, how did you manage to just, because it's all the parents I thought did a wonderful job of bringing that confusion and that loss of being able to connect with their child and realizing that they're hiding stuff. I mean, that, how were you able to basically bring that to life?
Yeah, there's a lot to be said again about what Liz Hannah and Patrick McManus did with these scripts. They brought a lot of truth to it. And in my own life, there's definitely that panic that you might miss something with your own child, because it is really easy to sort of disappear behind the screen and not have that communication with your child on a level that's meaningful. And I think this story is an example of the Carters, like two parents who thought that they had checked all of the boxes. Everything that how they present their life and the way they live is it's the American dream. It's a model nuclear family, and I believe that they thought they did everything right. And it just goes to show that you never really know what's going on behind closed doors. You never really know what's going on emotionally or psychologically with anyone, with your child. And particularly when you have the societal pressures and of pop culture and social media, and the ability to escape into a fantasy world where you really aren't aware of the consequences in your communications with other people.
And I guess also the other thing is, because this film series is very much deals with a lot of, like I said, intense and very dark subject matter. Like, how were you after those scenes that you had to do? Was there did you find yourself in a funk? Was there anything that, like, if you did, that you found like helped break that funk? Or was there something in your mind that you had to continuously remind yourself that, like, this is not who I am, I'm just doing what my job is entailing me to do?
Yeah. It's interesting. I was blown away, honestly, working with Elle, because she was the person that could do that effortlessly. And I definitely walked away with a lot of my heart was hanging heavy, after a lot of our scenes together, and a lot of the work was, it did have an impact on me. But Elle she would show up, happy as a clam, and step on set, and the cameras would roll, and she would go so deep, like so immediately. And when we were done working, she brushed it off and went about her day. And I'm like, there is a person with a lot of resilience, a lot of talent, and just an ability to invest their whole self into the character, and that was very inspiring.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, speaking of your chemistry with Elle, was just honestly amazing to watch. Some of my favorite scenes were between you two. And was it because, as you said, Elle is just very natural, that it made those scenes easier for you? Did you really find yourself falling into a father-daughter relationship with her?
Yeah, interestingly, I have a daughter who's 16, and she's incredibly similar to Elle in a lot of ways, in stature and personality and stuff. And not that I was using that too closely, but I did feel a kinship with Elle. There was a familiarity. She was incredibly open, and I really just felt that when we were together, it was nothing was forced, and she's infectious. She's an infectious person that just really, it creates an environment that's conducive to doing good work. So it was a real honor.
And then for my final question, because this series focuses on, obviously the dangers of social media, pop culture, obsession, the need to fit in. What do you hope viewers take away from this series after all is said and done?
I hope that conversations on a national level are united around, maybe removing the stigma around mental health, and, sort of creating an environment where we can have conversations about our mental health, and the fact that we all mental health shows up for us in different ways on different days, and there are a lot of variables. And I think if we remove the stigma and we allow people, we empower people with the knowledge that there is help and it is okay to talk, that hopefully we will change this dynamic of having the impact of social media and pop culture and all of those things will have less of a negative impact, and we can move forward and learning new ways to support each other and communicate. And I think that, that would be a wonderful outcome. I think the more we have communication and acceptance of the complexities of mental health for each person, I think the better.
Well, thank you again so much for speaking with me, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Like I said, the series is wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.